be educated, but I'm so frustrated.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Mindset channel. Man, tonight we about to get into something that's really real. This is about some earth, wind, and fire. So if you don't know nothing about no earth, wind, and fire, you might as well go on about your business. Go on, get. But anyway, some of you old schoolers, I know you know what I'm talking about. But if you ain't no old schooler, you don't know nothing about earth, wind, and fire, you might as well go on about your business now. Because we're going to be talking about earth, wind, and fire and what made them great, man. But we're not talking about the band per se. We're going to be talking about what made them great. And that was that horn section. That horn section was on fire. Now, some of y'all know them as the earth, wind, and fire horn. Them ain't the horns, man. We talking about the Phenix Horn. The Phenix Horns are the one that set this band to the status that you know it as today. Earth, Wind, and Fire wouldn't be Earth, Wind, and Fire that we know if they didn't have them horns blowing up in the background. So we're going to get right into that. And I hope y'all enjoy this. So who are the Phenix Horns? Well, they were more than just a horn section. They were an unstoppable force that drove earth, wind, and fire's sound. These guys were some of the finest musicians ever in the world. So today, we're diving into this legendary horn section. Yep, they were called the Phenix Horns, a brass section that brought power, soul, and an undeniable funk to the music scene back in the day. But the horn section should not be confused with the Earth, Wind, and Fire horns, which was established in 1987. That was the legacy of the Phenix Horn. This group might perform classic Phenix Horn arrangements in live shows or studio albums, but the players often change and aren't necessarily fixed into members of the band. The later horn section might feature more modern influences, adapting the original arrangements to new styles while keeping Earth, Wind, and Fire's signature brass elements though. But back to the original section. The Phenix Horns weren't always known by that name. Originally, they were a part of a folk group called the Pharaohs, formed in Chicago in 1962. This group came out of Crane Junior College with members like Louis Satterfield on trombone, Charles Handy on trumpet, and Don Myrick on alto sax. They were soon joined by other musicians including Maurice White, who would later go on to form Earth, Wind, and Fire. Maurice met Satterfield while working at Chess Studios in Chicago, where both of them were involved in session work. After a stint with the Ramsey Lewis Trio, White started Earth, Wind, and Fire and decided to expand the band's sound with a horn section. That's where the Phenix Horns were born, with members like Don Myrick, Louis Satterfield, Romley Michael Davis, Harry Kim, and Michael Harris joining the fold. So what made the Phenix Horns so special? Well, unlike traditional horn sections of the time, they didn't just play melody, they added a whole new layer to music. The Phenix Horns were known for their rhythmic, almost percussive style. They didn't just back up the rhythm section, they helped drive the groove. They played these sharp staccato brass stabs that made songs come alive. The horns had a sound that was all their own. This style was inspired by jazz and funk, but with a unique twist. For example, in songs like Mighty Mighty, Get Away, and September, you'll hear them layering these fast-moving unison lines, creating a signature sound that's instantly recognizable. Now on them ballads, such as We Are the World, you'd often hear Davis and Harris play the flugelhorn, bringing in a smoother, more soulful tone. Oh man, and you better not forget about Reasons, where Don Myrick of the Phenix Horn laid down a forever memorable sax solo alongside Philip Bailey. Y'all know that one. Hey now, the Phenix Horns helped shape Earth, Wind, and Fire's biggest hit. Take that In the Stone. That unforgettable brass intro everybody knows. Or Shining Star, where the horns turned a simple groove into an anthem. Let's Groove? The horns didn't just back up the rhythm, they led it. These tracks wouldn't have the same energy or the feel without the Phenix Horns. But it wasn't just about Earth, Wind & Fire. Did you know that the Phenix Horns worked with a whole lot of other groups too? I mean, hundreds. People like Phil Collins and Genesis. Phil had albums where most of the tracks featured the horns. They added signature sounds to tracks like No Reply at All and Paper Lake. And let's not forget about the collaboration with Collins' debut solo album, Face Value, where the horns shine on tracks like If Leaving Me Is Easy and the instrumental The West Side. But sadly, with all the success, the Phenix Horns weren't without their heartbreak. Don Myrick, the legendary saxophonist, was tragically shot to death by a Santa Monica Police Department officer in the doorway of his home in 1993. He's buried in the Inglewood Park Cemetery in Los Angeles, across from the Forum, home of the Lakers. One nice and positive thing about that is Phil Collins wrote the song For a Friend as a tribute to Myrick, which was released on the single We Wait and We Wonder in 1994.
We were always laughing.
Myrick's death sent shockwaves through the music world. He wasn't just part of the Phenix Horn, he was one of the defining forces behind Earth, Wind & Fire sound. His loss left a massive hole in the group, and though the Phenix Horns continued on, it was never quite the same. How could it be? Man, them boys were a family, and now one of the brothers were gone to the horn section in the sky. Louis Satterfield returned to performing until his death in September of 2004. Now the rest of the guys continue to work on various projects and play with various groups. Listen, y'all, even though the Phenix Horns' time with Earth, Wind & Fire officially ended, their influence definitely lives on, man. They helped redefine what a horn section could be, blending jazz, funk, soul, and R&B into something truly powerful. Whether you hear them in Earth, Wind & Fire's music, in Phil Collins' work, or in other collaborations, the Phenix Horns left their mark on music history. And their legacy isn't about the songs they played on, it's about the feel they brought to music. They didn't just play notes, they brought soul, energy, and that undeniable groove. This sound has influenced horn sections and brass players to this day. When you hear horns of any kind in hit songs, believe me, somewhere down the line they were inspired by the boys of the Phenix Horns. I remember back in the day that the only reason people were learning to play horn was to be like Earth, Wind & Fire in their horn section. Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about right there. Them Phenix Horns, man. I tell you, that group of guys, they knew how to play. I remember everybody I ran across growing up who wanted to learn how to play an instrument, because of Earth, Wind & Fire, wanted to start a band because of Earth, Wind & Fire, man. One of the greatest bands to ever record music in the world. And their music is still great and continues to be great. But don't forget who put them on the map, man, because you can look at some stuff before they got the Phenix Horn. They were good, but I'm going to be honest with you, it is nowhere near what it became after they started incorporating that horn section into their shows and into the music and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But Earth, Wind & Fire is going through a whole lot, man. It lost a couple of those guys, man. Don Myrick, of course, we talked about. And also Andrew Woolfolk, who came in and played saxophone. They also lost Fred White on drums. And, of course, Maurice White passed away. He was the leader of the group. He passed away in 2016. Man, a whole lot of time has passed by. But yeah, I hope that helped you out a whole lot, because it brings back a lot of memories when you break. I haven't heard anybody bring up Earth, Wind & Fire like that in a long time. You know, they're still touring. They're still doing their thing. But let's not forget about, they wouldn't be what they are if it wasn't for what they were. And they were what they were because of them Phenix Horns, honestly. You know what I mean? They definitely had the greatest musicians and songwriters behind them and stuff like that. But the Horns put them on the map. I hope you guys appreciate that, and check back with us next time on the Music Mindset channel. We're going to be talking about some music, I can guarantee you that.